Let me ask you something personal. You love your cat. I know you do. You probably talk to them, buy them little treats, maybe even let them sleep on your pillow even though they take up 90% of the bed. You do everything you think a good cat owner should do. But what if I told you that one of those things, something you do almost every single day, is actually making your cat miserable? Not in a dramatic, call the vet kind of way. But quietly. Subtly. In a way that slowly breaks the trust between you and the one creature in your home who chose to love you on their own terms. I'm not talking about feeding them the wrong food. I'm not talking about skipping vet visits. I'm talking about something so normal, so instinctive for us as humans, that most owners never even question it. And there is now serious scientific research, from some of America's most respected universities, proving exactly how damaging this one habit can be. Stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you're going to look at your cat completely differently, and more importantly, your cat is finally going to feel seen. Picture this. You've had a long day. You walk through the front door, kick off your shoes, and the first thing you want is to feel that soft, warm fur against your skin. You spot your cat, maybe they're curled up on the couch, or sitting on the windowsill watching the world go by, and your heart just melts. So you do what feels natural. You walk over, reach down, and pick them up. You squeeze them a little. You press your face into their fur. You might even do that thing where you hold their little paws and talk to them in a high-pitched voice. And your cat? Your cat goes stiff. Their ears flatten. Their tail starts flicking. They might let out a low, warning sound. And the second you loosen your grip, they're gone. Off the couch, out of the room, somewhere they can decompress in peace. And you're left there thinking, did I do something wrong? Yes. And no. You didn't do it out of cruelty. You did it out of love. But here's the problem, you were showing love in a human way, to a creature that is fundamentally, biologically, psychologically, not human. That right there is the one thing. The one habit. The thing cats hate most that owners do almost universally. Forcing physical affection. But before you feel guilty, let's actually understand why. Because this goes so much deeper than cats are independent. That's a lazy explanation, and your cat deserves better than a lazy explanation. If you're new here, this is the place where we go deep on cat behavior, cat psychology, and everything you need to actually understand the animal sharing your home. Hit that subscribe button because we post every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's get into it. To understand why forced affection is so damaging to your cat, you have to step inside their world for a moment. Research from Dr. Sharon Crowell Davis, professor of veterinary behavioral medicine at the University of Georgia's College of Veterinary Medicine, United States of America, has spent decades studying feline social structure. Her published work in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery makes something critically clear. Cats are what behaviorists call facultative social animals. That's a fancy way of saying they can be social, but socialness, for them, is always a choice. It is never an obligation. Think about how cats evolved. Unlike dogs, who were bred over thousands of years specifically to be companions to humans, to read our emotions, to seek our approval, to need our presence, cats domesticated themselves. They came to us. They hung around human settlements because there were rodents to hunt. They tolerated us. Eventually, they warmed up to us. But that relationship was always on their terms. Dr. Crowell Davis's research confirms that in the wild, the ancestors of your house cat were largely solitary hunters. They didn't live in packs. They didn't have an alpha to answer to. They roamed alone, they hunted alone, they survived alone. Physical contact, being touched, being held, being restrained, in the wild, that means one thing, a predator has you. Now, your cat has been in your home for years. They trust you. They love you, in their own way. But that ancient, hardwired instinct? It doesn't just disappear. It lives in their nervous system. It lives in every muscle that tightens when something grabs them without warning. When you pick up your cat without their consent, from their perspective, their body goes into a threat assessment mode. Even if their brain knows it's you, even if they recognize your smell, your voice, your face, their body is saying something has me. I can't move. I need to escape. That is stress. Real, physiological stress. And chronic stress in cats leads to some genuinely heartbreaking consequences. More on that in just a moment. Here's where it gets really interesting, and a little uncomfortable. Research from the Ohio State University College of Veterinary Medicine, led by Dr. Tony Buffington, one of the most cited feline stress researchers in the United States, found something that should stop every cat owner in their tracks. Through his landmark work on the Indoor Pet Initiative, a research and education program out of Ohio State, Dr. Buffington and his team demonstrated that cats exposed to unpredictable human handling and disrupted routines showed measurably elevated stress hormone levels, specifically cortisol, even when those disruptions came from well-meaning owners. His studies showed that both healthy cats and cats with chronic illness showed a dramatic increase in what he called sickness behaviors, vomiting, inappropriate elimination, loss of appetite, and hiding, when their environment became unpredictable or when they were subjected to handling they didn't control. And here's the key finding: when the stressor was removed and the environment was enriched and made predictable again, those sickness behaviors dropped significantly. Without drugs. Without special diets. Just by respecting the cat's need for control over its own environment. Let that sink in. Your cat can be stressed by you, not because you're a bad owner, but because the way you're expressing love is being received as a threat. And here's the part that really gets me. Unlike dogs, who will often show distress openly, whining, cowering, shaking, cats are masters of concealing discomfort. Dr. Buffington's research at Ohio State explains this clearly, because cats are both predator and prey in the wild, showing vulnerability is dangerous. So your cat sits there in your arms, looking deceptively calm, maybe even purring, but inside, their nervous system is working overtime. That purring, by the way? It's not always happiness. Cats also purr when they're anxious or trying to self-soothe. It's a coping mechanism. Which means all those times you thought your cat was loving the cuddle because they were purring, they might have been trying to calm themselves down. I know. That one stings a little. It stung me too when I first learned it. Now let's talk about what happens when this becomes a pattern. Cats who are regularly subjected to forced affection, being picked up when they don't want to be, held when they're trying to leave, petted in ways they haven't chosen, these cats start to exhibit behaviors consistent with what researchers describe as chronic stress response. They retreat. They hide. They become what owners call antisocial or cold, but they're not cold. They're protecting themselves. And the saddest part? The owner usually doubles down. The cat pulls away, so the owner tries harder to connect, more picking up, more forced snuggles, and the cat withdraws further. It becomes a cycle. A painful one. For both of you. There are also documented physical health consequences. This is where the research becomes impossible to ignore. Dr. Buffington's team at The Ohio State University, in a landmark study published in the American Journal of Veterinary Research, directly studied the link between environmental stress, including unpredictable human handling, and a painful condition called feline idiopathic cystitis, or FIC. This is stress-induced bladder inflammation. It is painful. It causes cats to urinate outside the litter box, strain to urinate, and sometimes leads to life-threatening urinary blockages in male cats. The Ohio State study found that cats with FIC had measurably compromised bladder permeability, elevated stress hormone markers, and showed abnormal sympathetic nervous system responses during periods of environmental stress, including handling stress. When those stressors were reduced through something Ohio State called multimodal environmental modification, essentially, giving cats back control over their space and interactions, symptoms dropped significantly. This condition, FIC, affects an estimated 1.5% of cats seen in primary care veterinary practices in the United States, according to data published in the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association. That may sound small, but it translates to hundreds of thousands of cats suffering from a stress-related disease that their owners don't even know they're contributing to. Your love, expressed in the wrong language, can literally make your cat sick. That is not said to make you feel terrible. That is said because you deserve to know the truth, so you can do better. Here's the twist in this story, and it's a beautiful one. Cats who are given control over their interactions with humans don't become less affectionate. They become more affectionate. This is backed up by research from Oregon State University's Human-Animal Interaction Lab, led by researcher Dr. Kristen Vitale, who was supported by a National Science Foundation graduate research fellowship during her landmark studies on cat-human bonding. In a 2017 study published in the journal Behavioral Processes, Dr. Vitale and her colleagues at Oregon State offered 50 cats, both pet cats and shelter cats, a choice between 4 categories of stimuli: food, toys, scent, and human social interaction. What they found turned decades of assumptions upside down. Social interaction with humans was the single most preferred stimulus category for the majority of cats tested. More than food. More than toys. Your cat wants you. They just want to choose when. Then in 2019, Dr. Vitale published a follow-up study in the journal Current Biology, again out of Oregon State, using what's called a secure base test, the same methodology used to measure attachment in human infants and dogs. The study tested over 100 cats and kittens. The finding: the majority of cats, about 64%, demonstrated secure attachment to their human owners, meaning they used their owner as a source of emotional security when placed in an unfamiliar environment. In both studies, the critical variable was cat-initiated contact. When cats chose the interaction, they thrived. When interactions were forced upon them, the dynamic broke down. By backing off, by giving your cat control, you actually get more of them. More of the thing you were desperately reaching for. It's counterintuitive. It goes against every human instinct, because for us, love is often expressed through action, through touch, through reach, through holding on. But for cats, love is expressed through presence without pressure. Through being in the room but not demanding anything. Through offering your hand and waiting. Okay. Practical time. Because information without action is just sadness. Let's fix this. Step 1. Learn the invitation. The cat slow blink. If you don't know about this, it will change your life. When a cat slow blinks at you, closes their eyes slowly and reopens them, that is a cat communicating safety and trust. You can do it back. Seriously. Slow blink at your cat. Wait. If they do it back, you just had a conversation in cat language, and they said, "I feel safe with you." Step 2. Let them come to you. Instead of going to your cat, sit on the floor near them. Yes, the floor. Get on their level. Don't reach out. Don't make direct eye contact, which cats can read as a challenge. Just be there. Read a book. Look at your phone. Exist near them without agenda. Most of the time, curiosity wins. They'll come sniff you. They'll rub against you. They'll choose you. And that moment, when your cat chooses to be near you, is worth 1,000 forced cuddles. Step 3. Read the body language. A relaxed cat has a softly held tail, slightly narrowed or slow blinking eyes, ears facing forward or gently to the side, and a loose, unhurried body. A stressed cat has a puffed or low-held tail, flattened ears, dilated pupils, a tense crouched posture, and a rapidly flicking tail. Learn these. Know them the way you'd know a friend's face when something is wrong. Step 4. Pet in the right places, for the right amount of time. Most cats enjoy being touched on the head, specifically the cheeks, the chin, behind the ears, and the base of the tail. Most cats dislike being touched on the belly. And here's a practical technique backed by behavioral guidance from Ohio State's Indoor Pet Initiative. Pet your cat for a few seconds, then stop and pull your hand away. If they headbutt your hand, rub against you, or look at you expectantly, they want more. If they walk away, shake their body, or immediately start grooming, they're done. Respect that. No negotiation. Step 5. Create safe spaces. Your cat needs places in your home where they know, with complete certainty, that they will not be disturbed. A high shelf, a cat tree, a quiet corner with a bed. Respecting those spaces, not following them there, not reaching in to pull them out, is one of the most profound acts of love you can show a cat. Dr. Buffington's Ohio State research team specifically highlighted that cats given predictable refuge spaces showed measurably lower stress hormone levels and fewer health complications. I want to close with something a little more personal. There's a reason so many of us struggle with this. We reach for our cats when we are sad, when we are lonely, when we need comfort. And there's nothing wrong with that impulse, it's human, it's real, and cats genuinely do provide something therapeutic that's hard to put into words. But the relationship gets so much richer when it becomes mutual. When you learn your cat's language instead of forcing them to navigate yours. When you sit quietly and wait, and they walk over and press their warm little forehead against your hand, that moment is earned. It is chosen. By them. For you. Dr. Kristen Vitale from Oregon State said it best in her research, when cats live in a state of dependency with a human, that attachment behavior is flexible, and the majority of cats use humans as a source of comfort. They want to bond. They just need us to meet them where they are. That's not a cold relationship. That's not an indifferent animal. That is a creature who had every option in the world, surveyed their surroundings, assessed the situation, and decided, you. I pick you. That's everything. So the next time you come home and you see your cat across the room, don't rush over. Sit down. Make yourself small. Blink slowly. And wait. They'll come. If this video changed the way you think about your cat, do me a favor and share it with someone else who loves theirs. It might just save a relationship between a human and a tiny, misunderstood animal who was never asking for much. Just to be seen. On their own terms. Drop a comment below and tell me, has your cat ever given you the slow blink? I want to hear about it. Like this video if it helped, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.